The stars above Kepler 7 Outpost were beautiful, the kind of beautiful that made you forget the universe was trying to kill you. Commander Ethan Reyes stood at the edge of the observation deck, coffee mug in hand, watching 3 moons rise in slow procession over the ridge. His boots were scuffed. His jacket carried a burn mark from last month's plasma conduit explosion. He hadn't shaved in 4 days. He looked, by any galactic standard, completely unremarkable. That was, perhaps, the most dangerous thing about him. "Commander," said Specialist Torres, stepping out behind him. Long-range sensors just picked up something at the outer marker. Could be debris. Ethan didn't turn around. He took a slow sip of his coffee. "Could be," he said. He turned anyway. 40 light-minutes away, aboard the Blade of Keth, Supreme Commander Kale of the Vorkai Dominion stood before a holographic map of the sector and smiled with 3 of his 4 mouths. The outpost was small. Barely a dot on the strategic grid. 1 structure. 1 power relay. 1 squad of what the Dominion's intelligence reports described as a minimal human garrison, likely administrative or scientific in nature. Kale had crushed planets with less preparation than he was giving this. "We move at the 6th rotation," he announced to his war council. 12 Vorkai officers stood in perfect posture, their bioluminescent crests glowing amber, the color of anticipation. "We eliminate the relay, take the outpost, and use it as our forward staging point. The humans will not even have time to send a distress signal." "And the garrison?" asked Subcommander Vel. Kale waved a dismissive claw. "A handful of soft bodies at a remote post. Probably scientists. Possibly engineers." He leaned back in his command chair. "Tell me, Vel, when was the last time a human scientist stopped an invasion?" The War Council laughed. The first warning Ethan got was a blip. A single, quiet blip on the passive sensor array, the kind most commanders would dismiss as a glitch. Ethan set down his coffee. "Torres," he said calmly, "get Huang and Vasquez up. Tell them to bring the good kit." Torres frowned. "Sir, it might just be. It's not debris." He walked to the command console and pulled up the raw sensor data. The signature was subtle, almost elegantly subtle. Whoever was out there was good at hiding. They'd staggered their approach vector across the magnetic shadow of the moon cluster, running passive systems only, coasting on momentum alone for the last several thousand kilometers. Almost perfect. But Ethan had spent 11 years on border postings. He'd learned to read the quiet the way other people read text. "They're running dark," he said, half to himself. 6, maybe 7 contacts. Corvette class or above. He looked up. "Sound it out, Torres. Everyone in hard suit in 3 minutes." Torres stared at him. "Sir, there's only 9 of us." Ethan pulled on his own helmet and locked the seal. "I know," he said. "Try to sound sympathetic when you report it." The Vorkai attack group dropped out of stealth at a distance of 400 kilometers, well within optimal bombardment range, well outside what they calculated as effective human response time. Kale watched the outpost's tiny heat signature on his display and felt the familiar pleasure of inevitability. "Open a channel," he said. "Standard surrender protocol. Give them 60 seconds." The channel opened. Silence. Kale waited. Then a voice, calm, unhurried, almost bored, came through the speaker. "Vorkai vessel, this is Commander Ethan Reyes, United Earth Defense Outpost 7 Tango. I'm going to ask you to hold your current position and not approach further. I'll only ask once." Kale blinked 2 of his eyes. He glanced at Vel. Vel's crest flickered, confusion, maybe amusement. Kale leaned forward. "Human Commander. You are outnumbered. You have no fleet support within range. Your outpost is indefensible. Surrender, and your lives will be." "Yeah, I heard you the first time," Ethan said. I said hold your position. This is the only courtesy I'm extending. Kale stared at the speaker. Then he laughed, long and loud, and all 12 of his officers laughed with him. Fire, he said. The first volley hit nothing. That was the strange part. The targeting solutions had been perfect. The shots had landed, Kale's sensor officer confirmed it. But the outpost's power signature hadn't dropped. The structure was still standing. The human life signs were still active. Recalibrate, Kale ordered. Supreme Commander, said the sensor officer carefully, the targeting data is accurate. We hit the outpost directly. But the structure appears to be. He stopped. Appears to be what? Shielded, sir. With a Class 9 military-grade deflection array. Silence fell on the bridge like a stone. Kale turned slowly. A Class 9? On a border outpost? Yes, sir. Those are rated for capital ship bombardment. Yes, sir. Kale looked at his display. His fingers tightened on his armrest. What else does this administrative outpost have? The sensor officer's crest had gone pale, nearly white, the color of fear. Sir. I'm reading 6 concealed defense turrets coming online. Mass driver configuration. And 3 torpedo bays beneath the surface. Plus active jamming. We've lost our long-range comm relay. The bridge went very, very quiet. Kale stood up slowly. Commander Reyes, he said, his voice carrying a different quality now. What exactly are you guarding out here? A pause. Just a coffee maker and some paperwork, Ethan said. But I'm guarding it very well. The battle lasted 47 minutes. Afterward, historians would argue about what exactly had gone wrong for the Vorkai attack group. Some pointed to the torpedo salvo that disabled 2 of the corvettes in the opening exchange. Some pointed to the ECM suite that had turned the Vorkai vessels against each other for 11 critical seconds. Some pointed to the suppression grid that had locked down Kale's escape vector long enough for the mass drivers to work. All of them missed the real answer. The real answer was 9 people. 9 humans in hard suits, working in a structure the size of a large house, executing a defense protocol that Ethan Reyes had drawn up on a slow Tuesday 3 months ago, just in case. Huang ran the torpedo systems from a crawlspace. Vasquez managed the ECM grid on a tablet, her back against a vibrating wall. Torres coordinated targeting from a folding chair with a cracked screen. None of them panicked. That was the thing about humans that the Vorkai intelligence reports had gotten wrong, the critical, fatal thing. Humans didn't panic when the odds went bad. They got quiet. They got focused. They stopped being individuals and became something stranger, a single system, 9 moving parts, sharing breath and silence and purpose. Kale's ship limped away from Kepler 7 outpost with 2 of 7 vessels destroyed, 3 heavily damaged, and his communications array still being jammed by a border post that should, by every metric the Dominion possessed, have crumbled in the first volley. He sat in the wreckage of his pride and stared at the stars. Just a coffee maker and some paperwork. He opened a channel, the only one still working. Commander Reyes. A pause. Coffee sounds. Still here. What are you? Kale asked. He didn't mean it strategically. He meant it the way a child asks about something they don't understand. The human was quiet for a moment. We're the ones who showed up, Ethan said finally. We always show up. The channel closed. Kale stared at the empty stars for a long time. Then he began composing a very different report than the one he had planned, one that warned the Dominion High Command of something they had consistently underestimated. Not human weapons. Not human fleets. Human stubbornness. Human patience. The ability of 9 ordinary people, at a forgotten outpost at the edge of nowhere, to hold the line, not because they had been ordered to, not because victory was certain, but because it was simply what they did. Back at Outpost 7 Tango, Commander Ethan Reyes refilled his coffee, checked the sensor logs one more time, and wrote a maintenance request for the 3 turrets that had overheated. Then he went to sleep. The moons rose quietly over the ridge. The outpost held.